Hi, I'm here to talk to you about ChatGPT and the benefits of AI in cyber. My name is Lorna Armitage. I'm a CapsLook co-founder. CapsLook co-founder? A co-founder at CapsLook even. Try it that way. And I like to put this up when I'm kind of introducing myself, because I think what it shows is that kind of nobody's just one thing. We're not just a job title, and people and their journeys are really more like a network and kind of less like a linear and straightforward as we sometimes think. And this is kind of me. You can see there, senior lecturer. It's quite nice to be back behind a lectern. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've done a talk in person, actually. I think this might be the first talk I've done in person since COVID, before COVID. So that's interesting. But yeah, it's really good to be at B-Sides in Yorkshire. It's really nice to see. Mostly because I don't have to travel very far to come to this one. And I had to pull my back lugging a suitcase around bloody London last week. So it's nice to just be able to hop on a train for 10 minutes and get in here. So I'm going to start with, what is ChatGPT? If you've not heard of ChatGPT, where have you been, quite frankly? But what is ChatGPT? So it is an artificial intelligence powered tool. And it's designed to engage in conversations with people using natural language processing. And basically what that means is that it generates human-like responses based on the inputs that it receives. So it's looking at kind of having conversational kind of results to things, and when you're prompting. So unlike a kind of traditional search engine, although they are getting more kind of focused on this kind of AI, what AI does is it gives you that conversational response and a little bit more tailored to what, and a bit more intuitive, not human intuition, but a bit more kind of intuitive to what you might want. And kind of due to its nature, it's trained on a wide range of topics and can provide information and answer questions and even offer different suggestions to what you might be asking it there. So it's quite a powerful tool. AI in general is becoming more and more powerful. We're not at true AI just yet. If we ever get there, run for the hills, quite frankly, because we're not turning the machines off if we ever get there. But I'm going to talk to you about some of the benefits of using ChatGPT in cybersecurity. So one of the benefits is around improving user awareness and training. And we can use ChatGPT to develop interactive training programs. It can offer some really creative and unique possibilities when designing training and awareness campaigns. It can be used to develop interactive training programs and simulations that help users understand really what cyber is about and how it can kind of relate to them in those terms as well, and the importance of cybersecurity. It can allow us to get a better understanding of an understanding of how to protect themselves and their organisations as well. We've all had the training in organisations, haven't we? The click, boring training. We're ticking the box. We've done it. We've gone through. We've not really learned anything from it. And ChatGPT can help us get a little bit more creative and give some new and novel ideas to that training and the awareness that we develop within organisations. When we look at things like threat intelligence as well, we can use AI quite well in threat intelligence. AI has a real unique ability to be able to analyse really large volumes of data for us. It can generate insights into emerging cyber threats and attack trends, and it can really help organisations proactively identify and respond to potential threats that they faced. It can also be leveraged as a kind of intelligent virtual assistant to analyse security logs, to help us identify and respond to potential threats that are there for the organisation, and look at how kind of we mitigate risk around those, look at detecting anomalies and things. And it can also help us automate the monitoring and the responses around those as well going forward, and indicate those potential security breaches or that malicious activity that organisations might face. Overall, it can help improve an organisation's security posture as well. So when we're looking at developing security policies and procedures, it can really help us in assisting and developing those security policies and procedures that align with those industry best practices and compliance standards that organisations need. We've all used templates. I don't believe anybody is telling the truth if they say they haven't looked and used a template. So that's all it is. It throws a template out for us that we can then use and put together and help us develop those policies and procedures. And like I say, you pop in what compliance regulations you've got there, it can help you to align with those as well. It can provide guidance on risk assessments, access controls, incident response. Different businesses need to adhere to different things. We understand that. They've all got different risk appetites, but it can really help you bring those together and help an organisation really kind of establish a strong security posture overall. And what I mean by a strong security posture, for those who might not be familiar with that, is that kind of encompassing the various aspects of security, including those policies, the procedure, the technology, the people element of it. And it involves that combination of preventative, detective and responsive measures designed to protect the organisation's assets there. Information and education as well, and this is an interesting one. ChatGPT can really quickly answer questions for people and provide the information on the vast range of cybersecurity topics that you've got there, from the basics of, good password management to the complexities of network security and how do we secure against that. It's like a more direct Google. You're not getting 1,000 different articles through. Actually, you're getting a more direct response to the question that you're asking there. You can put into it what is risk, and you're getting a detailed response that you can read through. You can follow up with, further clarification on that. And it really is like having more of a conversation than kind of just a traditional Google or any other search engine that you may use. I'm not affiliated to Google in any way. But a more sort of natural conversation on that as well. And it really can help users sort of better understand the risks and challenges of cybersecurity so that they can not only protect themselves personally as well, but also help protect the organisation that they work in. So the benefits of ChatGPT and cybersecurity, well, it seems there are lots of them. So, overall, ChatGPT can be a really valuable tool in helping organisations and users better understand cybersecurity and manage their cybersecurity risks more effectively. However is just a fancy but, quite frankly. Don't let anybody tell you any different. What if I actually told you that, kind of despite agreeing with some of it, that was all written by ChatGPT. Every bit of it was written by ChatGPT there. So, and I did struggle with elements of that. I was wanting to put kind of different little, allegedly's in there, but I thought it's probably going to spoil it. It's like, okay, I'm just going to have to get through it. I'm not sure I agree with all of this. But yeah, so it was all written by ChatGPT. We're not there yet. It is a fantastic and it is a powerful tool, but humans are still essential in the security process for several reasons that we're going to go through. So when we look at contextual understanding, really important to any business that you're looking at. Anybody who is a consultant or has definitely been on the Caps Lock course will know the phrase "it depends," and it absolutely depends on the business, on their risk appetite, on their profile, what assets they're protecting, all of those things. You need that contextual understanding to be able to make better decisions and to be able to look at actually the solutions that you provide into the problems. Humans really have that ability to understand the context of a situation that AI just doesn't have yet to that level. It's still a critical role in everything that we do there. We've got, what else? We've got investigative skills. So it is great, it's great analysing data, and there's different elements of that. But you've still got to have skills that technologies just can't replicate. When you're looking at investigated breaches, incidents, you need to be able to go and speak to people. You need to be able to have some level of kind of understanding, not of just the context, but it might be interviewing witnesses, it might be understanding patterns of behaviour that we need to look at there. Again, that the AI just isn't able to replicate. It's not at the point yet in AI where it can actually fully replicate intuition, and that human intuition that is, absolutely essential to a lot of what we do in security when we're looking at things like investigating and incidents. The communication and collaboration, again, effective security requires that collaboration and communication between different teams. You've got the security team, you said it earlier, you've got to be able to effectively communicate with all the people within the business, your HR, your security, the business, your exec team. That is essential to be able to really fully get that security posture within an organisation. And it requires social interaction. Again, that AI just, whether we like it or not, it requires social interaction that AI just doesn't have and is not able to be able to replicate. And that emotional intelligence that is needed in some of those situations to be able to have conversations, sometimes very difficult conversations. It's just not able to do that. Security decisions often involve as well ethical considerations, and that is really important. Now, I know there's a lot of talk around ethics in general when we're looking at AI and how it's developed, but what I'm talking about here is actually when we're making judgment calls, when we're looking at situations and we're thinking about the ethics within situations and things like that. The human element is still needed there. We need to still make those ethical judgments that AI can't make, because ethics is really based around subjective viewpoints. It's based around, a lot of the time, subjective viewpoints. It's based around our moral reasoning. Ethics are based on potentially how we've been brought up, what kind of society we live in, our history, as well as kind of where we are at the time, the communities that we are a part of. So it's really difficult, again, for AI to be able to replicate all those things. So we need to kind of look at how do we combat all that when we are looking at AI, because it is great, and like I said, it's a powerful tool to be able to help us in our decision making and in our learning across the board. But not all decisions can be logical. Again, it needs that emotion, it needs that ethical reasoning and things like that going forward. So, in summary, I'm going too fast. That's because Rosie told me I needed to be quick because I'm before the keynote, and now I've panicked. So, I think in summary, what I would stand and say today is that technology plays an essential role in ensuring security in systems. But humans are still essential in the whole process. We really can't be replaced. Not yet, anyway. Like I said, and if we are ever replaced, then we'd all need to really run for the hills, because it's going to be scary out there. But we can't be replaced yet. And ChatGPT didn't write that last bit. Or did it? Who knows? Thank you. Any questions?
What about the other way around, though? So, ChatGPT is quite early on.
Yeah.
You talk about the different ethical issues. But humans make mistakes as well. And the US lawyer who used ChatGPT to research for May, and obviously got thrown out because we couldn't verify and validate. That's what I said in my talk.
Yeah.
Do we risk getting to a point that we actually don't trust it? Or is that fine balance? Or is this case of we need to get the humans trained as well as the ChatGPT engines?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I think it comes back to exactly what your point. Actually, you've got to validate. You've got to be able to validate some of this stuff. And I've got an academic background, so around research, it's all about making sure you're validating. You're looking at ensuring that you've got the referencing and you can back up everything that you're talking about. I think AI, ChatGPT in particular, is fantastic for that initial kind of element of research or learning. But you still need a level of understanding and knowledge to be able to take those results and interpret them in the right way and validate them and know that it is telling you the right thing. So if we talk about the policy template, great, templates are great, but you can't just take a template and put it into a business. You need to be looking at that template and tweaking it and understanding, okay, that bit's relevant here, that bit's really not relevant for us. So it's a good starting point. But I think it is just that, it's a starting point, and you still need a lot of a wraparound, around it to ensure that it is valid what it's telling us. And I think a hell of a lot more training around the humans that are using it as well, for sure. Just one at the back first and then here. Yeah.
Have you seen any examples of use cases where, I saw a green tile there, and all the places where you've got use cases where people have been using ChatGPT to all banks, like supercharged human cybersecurity.
Oh no, but that would be an interesting case study to see. I've not seen anything on that, but it is interesting. I mean, it is becoming more prevalent. I know it's something we need to look at Caps Lock as well, because learners are starting to use it, and it is as an initial tool. As I said, it's not that different from Googling or using a search engine. You can still find out this stuff. And probably a quicker process, but then there is the element around it. I said, but I've not seen it in the context that you're talking about. That would be interesting.
It's the CRM augmentation that using it now, like using it to actually responses in the place, it just gives you 10 times more productivity.
Right, is that like a chatbot sense?
Yeah, but if there's a person by something,
Yeah.
choose the response and the response summarize that up between people. It's like supercharged there.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept, isn't it? Because actually, what you're doing there is enhancing the kind of the human resource in that instance, which is a really interesting way to use it. Sorry, there's just one here first, and then.
So you made the comparison to templates, which I like. Do you have any thoughts on the fact that template is the static thing that's usually local to you, your control and platform, whereas this is a US hosted service? Particularly if you're trying to do things around vulnerabilities or giving sensitivity to your clients.
I have lots of thoughts around that. I think, yeah. I mean, we're talking about kind of the data protection issues with that. Yeah, there obviously is lots of issues around that. I think templates, in the sense that I'm talking about, really are just the static ones that you're saying. But I would be cautious of what you were putting into ChatGPT and AI, especially if it was business, data and intelligence. Then yeah, I would be definitely cautious about that for sure. That feels like a whole different chat, doesn't it? And lots of training, I think, for sure. Yeah.
Thoughts on HR functions and improvements to use new responses to job adverts. It's fabulous star responses to various stuff that you couldn't write in like half an hour. You're done in like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And then efficiency-wise, your time buying things and making CVs get better is levels people up to an extent that you can do cover letters and associate responses very quick. I appreciate that you look at, as an HR person, to see the fact it's been through it, but at the same time, it's good.
Yeah, I've probably got to be careful what I say on camera to this, because it's going to be there. I mean, the recruitment, in my opinion, and this is my personal opinion, the recruitment process is flawed anyway. It's very much ticking boxes. So, do you know what? If you can find an easier way to get around that, then I say why not? As long as you know you're not explicitly lying about your experience and what you do. You know, everybody, what's the word, exaggerates a little on their CVs and things. That's just how it is. And I think when you've got such a potentially convoluted process that takes so much time, and it is a numbers game, so you're having to put a lot of these things in, especially if you want it to personalise a little bit and tailor a little bit, then I can't see much harm. I might regret saying this in getting a little bit of help doing that to make it a faster process.
Depends how much it fluffs it out for you, and if it claims you've done something.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. As long as there's no kind of explicit lies on that you're telling that, if it fluffs it up, makes it sound better, then you've got the time to write for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's great. I've used it for templating policies shortly. My concern was integration. So it's out there collecting resource.
Yeah.
That kind of social engineering by proxy. That's my worry with this. We've been at the same content teams. Don't ask us to put anything specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's a use reference. My concern. So it's a shame. Useful already the criminals
Yeah, and that's always the problem, right, with any kind of technology or any new advance. It can do great things, but as we know, they can always do bad things, and there's always someone there to exploit that. But I think, just to reiterate, you're right, you've got to be careful what you're putting in, and there is a lot more training and awareness that needs to be done around teams using this and making sure it's appropriate. For what's putting it, I mean, it's collecting data, right?
The responses to back in now, it's like misinformation.
I mean, I generally use it for like stuff like this, so it's like just putting in a bit of fun. So I've not seen any personally, but there's horror stories around some of this, and my view on AI in general is, and this is coming again from kind of an academic background, it is still a very new thing. There's still a lot of research to be done on it, and it can be a really powerful tool, but I think it could be a really dangerous one as well in the wrong hands. And, when we see the advancements, it could potentially get very scary as we go forward with AI. Yes, sorry, back.
As an example, I've seen examples where people have submitted AI bots to Zoom meetings. So the bot captures.
Oh, there's an idea.
Captures all your data and meets it.
Well, to be fair, Teams is building in a function to do that now, right? So on actual Microsoft Teams, there is a function now to do that.
Yeah, but you don't have a data sharing agreement or a computer risk assessment with Microsoft.
Okay, so you mean on unauthorized bots?
Yeah,
right.
This is somebody inviting a bot to all those Zoom meetings and transcribes the meeting all day and all the data from the meetings and without third party, got no data protection agreement, anything. And people just say, oh, it's really good, it's really handy, look, it's saving all this time. So you've submitted the same coding letter as everybody else to your application and you probably or you just send it to the university meeting data to a third party that's not used forever.
And this is the problem with anything, any kind of technology. We all want to do things quicker, more efficiently, more effectively, but there's often consequences and payoff for doing those things, for sure. Yeah.
It's the thing that you document ways in which you can get access to person X at whatever email.com's search history or output.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's when you look at how much of it's open source out there, and that you can get at, I wouldn't be surprised. It's not. Although the security, they have to obviously taken a lot of security into account. That's not its main function. Secure that. So, sorry, I'm.
Keywords like use within certain things, then like Google searches.
Yeah. Well, your history's on there. Your history's on there as you're using it. It's not, it's not deleting. It's staying there. That's stored somewhere. It's not just stored locally. One there, and then I think we're going to have to finish up. I'm being told. Hold on.
So yeah, I actually found that it's a third bar because my more current data in it. But I think it is like I say, it's just a tool that we've got. It's something that's where I work with analysts, I think it is code how to use it, to get the most out of it, and I say use it in a safe way. So we have very sort of processes around using say virus to control not uploading sensitive information. So trying to explain the same thing with this sense of the AI things that what you're uploading into it is different features and essentially interact with you.
Absolutely, and I think that is the key thing, isn't it? It's just a tool like any other tool. It's not some magic here that we're dealing with. It's a tool like any other tool. It's storing the data. That data is going somewhere, so we need to really be careful what we're putting in there. One last quick question at the back, and then I think we'll have to.
So one of my mates applied for a job. So he asked me to help him finding the job description and CV
And I better not say any more on camera about that. Okay. Thank you, Kat. I just need to say the keynote is downstairs in the big room. Next one. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.